What if the father of the Bay Harbor butcher is the real architect of the monster we see in Resurrection? I will prove it with one clean receipt from the original series and a fresh on-screen beat from Resurrection Season 3. Episode 1, Oscar Prado dies on a grimy floor and Dexter realizes he may have killed an innocent. And in Resurrection, Episode 8, Angel Batista steps into a live, plastic-wrapped kill room and almost catches Dexter in the ritual. This is commentary and critique for education and entertainment. Major spoilers ahead. We are putting Harry Morgan on the table because Resurrection keeps dragging his ghost back into the room. The question is not whether Dexter kills. The question is whether Harry designed a system that made these specific choices inevitable. Before we cut, drop one episode from the original series and a one-line theory in the comments. I will test it against the receipts, then loop back to Resurrection's Episode 8 reveal. Start with how the code is framed as salvation. Season 1, Episode 2 shows Dexter refusing to pounce on a fake confession and instead following evidence on a hit-and-run predator. It looks like a moral algorithm shaping a monster toward monsters. Season 1, Episode 7 makes the same point when Neil Perry confesses to being the ice truck killer and Dexter waits out the noise to avoid a wrongful kill. If that is true, then the code should be a seatbelt that never snaps. It snaps almost immediately. Season 3, Episode 1 is the first true fracture. In a dark house, steel flashes, and Oscar Prado gasps while Dexter stares at his hands like they belong to someone else. The next day, Dexter watches a family grieve at Oscar's funeral because he cannot prove he killed by the rules. Now stitch in the father. Season 2, Episode 10 reveals in blunt flashback that Harry overdosed after seeing the result of the system he engineered. The man who said, "Do not get caught," cannot live with what he caught his son doing. Curiosity loop. If the code cannot hold under shock, what happens when love collides with the rules? Season 1, Episode 12 answers with a decisive cut. Brian Moser, arms open in a shipping container, offers Dexter the purest belonging he will ever feel. Dexter kills his brother to save Deb, choosing a person over procedure and showing that Harry's second clause, protect the innocent, is really a license to override the first whenever family bleeds into the frame. Resurrection keeps that tension hot. In Episode 8, Batista follows a tracker into a salon, pushing through plastic to see a freshly built room. He is seconds late, and what he sees makes him sound unhinged to the locals because ritual without a body looks like paranoia. Pattern interrupt. If the code is supposed to hide Dexter, why does its signature room now incriminate anyone who finds it but Dexter? Season 3, Episode 10 shows the rulebook cannot read mercy. Camilla lies in a hospital bed, all rasp and courage, and asks Dexter to end her pain with one last slice of key lime pie. He poisons the dessert and holds her hand while she slips away. The code has no clause for love that asks to stop suffering, so Dexter breaks it softly. Now look at what rage does. Season 5, Episode 1 strands Dexter in a marina bathroom with a loudmouth man named Rankin and grief humming in the lights. Dexter murders him with a boat hook. No plastic, no slides, no oath to any rule but pain. Curiosity loop. When the ritual vanishes, does the dark passenger disappear or finally speak in its natural voice? Season 3, Episode 3 deepens the split. On a sunny beach, Nathan prowls with the camera and Astor's outline in his lens. Dexter's face goes still. That night, he kills Nathan fast and personal in a house, breaking his own ritual because protecting children he loves outvotes paperwork written by a dead man. Resurrection pushes the same button with a modern prop. Episode 8 shows Dexter finding the earpiece tracker Batista planted in his car and smashing it to dust. The code's first commandment is do not get caught. In 2025 terms, that means beating surveillance, not plastic wrapping morality. Counter theory time. The strongest defense of Harry is simple and powerful. Without the code, Dexter's body count includes innocence. There are receipts. Season 1, Episode 7. Dexter's skepticism prevents a false kill when the department buys a bogus confession. Season 1, Episode 2. He stalks a proven predator and channels compulsion into evidence-based targeting. test that defense against the misses. Season 4 shows what disgust masquerading as proof can do. A fashion photographer named Jonathan Farrow brutalizes models on set, and Dexter reads cruelty as confession. He kills Farrow and later learns the assistant was the murderer. The ritual satisfied Dexter's stomach, not the standard of innocence. If that is true, then the code's veneer of science is often just a mirror for Dexter's feelings. The logic is only as good as the man applying it in the dark. Season 6, Episode 7 yanks the mask off impulse. Nebraska's roadside motel stinks of stale beer and bad choices, and a nosy owner named Norm pokes into Dexter's tools. A pitchfork thrust under buzzing neon makes it clear: no plastic, no photos, no test. The code is not present, appetite is. Curiosity loop. So why does Resurrection keep invoking Harry? Because the new show wants the same illusion the old one used, that a set of rules can make this humane. Ethics line, before we push into the last act. We are not glamorizing harm. We are examining craft, logic, and psychology, and how a story uses receipts to sell a mask that never truly fit. File one more receipt under family collapses the procedure. Season 4, Episode 12, A Quiet House, a bathtub gone red, a baby crying. Dexter's perfect ritual did nothing to protect Rita because secrecy is not safety, it is just silence with good lighting. Resurrection, Episode 8 pays off an earlier curiosity loop. Batista calls a detective to the scene and looks wild because he cannot produce a body, a victim, or a suspect. The ritual is a trap for witnesses now. The code's signature room protects Dexter and incriminates everyone else. Pattern interrupt. If Harry's legacy today mostly endangers innocents and misdirects investigators, then Father of the Butcher describes more than a training montage. It names a design flaw. Season 8, Episode 2 reframes the mythology out loud. Evelyn Vogel claims she helped Harry build the code and describes it like a clinical intervention. When the rules return, they return as design, not ethics. Now the hardest receipt. Season 8, Episode 12, Machines hiss, monitors blink, and Deb does not respond. Dexter turns off her ventilator and carries her into a storm, then lets her sink beneath the waves. There is no clause for this. Only a man accepting that following a rulebook for years cannot insulate him from a choice that will break him forever. Curiosity loop. Where does that leave Resurrection's father figure? If Harry's system cannot prevent these decisions, what exactly is Dexter fighting with in New York and against? Here is a quick micro-vignette to humanize the pressure. Season 3, Episode 1 again, the Oscar Prado aftermath. Dexter stands in a cemetery, eyes flicking over faces, and realizes he is hunting for deserving in the eyes of mourners because his method failed him. That is the moment the code stops being a lighthouse and starts being camouflage. Resurrection understands that instinct and keeps tempting Batista with the same plastic logic. He sees a room and thinks justice. He presents that room and looks unstable because plastic without bodies is theater. Counter-theory payoff. Could Harry be right and the alternative be worse? Yes. The original series shows predators who never would have faced a jury without someone like Dexter. But the receipts also show that the system Harry built cannot account for love, grief, error, or time. If that is true, then Father of the Butcher is not a nickname, it is an indictment. Harry gave Dexter a frame that looks like morality but acts like a filter for his feelings, and Resurrection is the bill coming due. One last micro-vignette, because this is where the mask finally rips. Season 1, Episode 12, the shipping container again. Brian whispers a future where Dexter never has to pretend. The light is blue, the air is tight, Deb is on the table. Dexter chooses Deb. The code walks back in afterward to explain why, but the truth is simple. People overprocess every time. So here is the verdict. In Resurrection, Harry's shadow keeps stepping into the light because the show wants us to ask who fathered this monster, the man or the method. The receipts say both. The code returns whenever Dexter needs to feel calibrated. He breaks it whenever life gets loud, messy, human. Type, I saw the receipts, if you will rewatch that Resurrection Episode 8 moment where Batista steps through plastic and realizes the ritual only proves obsession when the killer is already gone. Drop your original series episode plus a one-line theory below, and I will meet you in the comments with counter receipts. Subscribe to Scene Autopsy, where we solve television mysteries with receipts.